Hello, Sarah. How are you today? It's so great to see your beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sandee. I'm so excited to be on here with you.
Oh, well, thank you. I want to jump into everything that you're doing. But before that, tell me about, your backstory. How did you get to where you are today? Because you've got this beautiful smile. I can feel you. You've got a lot of positive vibes going, but not everybody was always like that. So do you have a story of how you got to this point to create something sounds like it's about bringing happiness to people?
Yes, I absolutely have always wanted to bring happiness to people and just make the world a little bit better, as cliche as that sounds. But I think I've been a serial entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is my passion. I think it's so amazing that we can all create, and we've been given that gift. And so since I was 18, I started my first company, and it was in the real estate industry, and I was able to exit that at 20, and then went on to do just like different things in social media. So I did music sponsorships through my own agency, and I also did a lot of stuff in social media. I'm also a UX and very product heavy founder, I would say. And then started Geojam and got into cryptocurrency in the very early days in 2017, and 2015 I started mining Ethereum, just doing really techy things that not a lot of people were doing then, and just always wanted to bring happiness through experiences.
I love that. I love that. So what was it in your upbringing? What do you think was there one little thing, or was it, sometimes it takes a village, but how did you become so entrepreneurial at such a young age?
Oh, that's such an easy answer. Definitely my dad. Since I was a little girl, he told me you have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have a choice. And I was writing business plans in fourth grade for him. Yeah, really early on, and doing design. And I just have always wanted to start my own company. And so that was always the goal. And my dad was my biggest cheerleader, still is. And I like tear up because I just love him so much and everything that he taught me.
Oh, that's awesome. And definitely the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur as well. And my son, since he was probably 12, 13, has been first it was Pokemon cards he was reselling, and then he was buying Supreme gear and reselling it, and now he's, we had dinner last night and he's like, okay, Mom, I'm ready to form my first LLC. And he has a whole brand that he wants to do, but he's going into his senior year of college, and I'm like, that's awesome. It's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
What a great
I think
influence.
college is the best time to start a company. You have so much opportunity. You're learning. You have an existing market that's right there in front of you, and that's what I did. I helped students become real estate agents, and then sell apartments to off-campus dorms and apartments in New York City. And so that, I think college is just such a great time, and I'm so glad I had the support system from both my mom and dad to be able to go start something like that and still focus on school sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may be having an additional semester, most likely. So
It was
that's
always
okay.
about just what can I learn from where I'm at and around my environment.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, so tell me about Geojam. What inspired you to create this type of platform, and talk more about it. Explain what the platform is.
Of course, I'm actually really excited because today is our 3-year anniversary as a company.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a huge accomplishment.
It's been such a
huge
journey.
accomplishment.
It's been so amazing, and where it started to where it is now is completely different, but still aligned with what we're trying to do, which is help the world experience moments together. And it started by really thinking about how can artists use their fan base to promote their music, promote everything that they're doing, and how can the fans get rewarded for being fans? And that was the real concept behind it. And so we started as a social media platform for music that connected artists and fans together, and then they would be rewarded with something called jam points, and with those points they can buy things, anything from playing video games with an artist, or cooking, or even flying on a private jet with an artist. We would do these really incredible experiences, and as we went on, we realized that the jam points were so valuable and these experiences were, but I'm love the blockchain and I love cryptocurrency. So I always wanted it to be on the blockchain, but the timing it wasn't ready for it. It was too early. So we did it more traditionally. And about a year ago, we finally decided to take the plunge and turn our jam points into actual cryptocurrency. And we don't want to be known as a crypto company. We want to be known as something for everyone, where you can find a community. And so it's really become the ultimate social media platform for not only musicians, but for all types of creators, whether you have a podcast or you're a blogger, or you're a fashion designer, anything from that you can do on here. It's a way for you to connect with your community and for communities to be built and formed, and you can do so many fun things in them. So it's about like easy, fast decision making through like video and creating dances and all these really fun things that you can do through polls and proposals and competitions that get you closer to your community and the creators that created them.
Wow. So how can somebody like me who, I've been hosting this podcast for a year and a half now, how would that benefit a podcaster? Let's just say, for example.
Yeah, so you can come on the platform and create your community, and you can invite people to join. You can also get exposure, however you might want to do it, promote it on other socials, or just get discovered on Geojam. And then from there, you can start, your community can be like, this is who we really want to see as a podcast guest. So they can like propose it to you, and you can accept or reject it, or they can ask you like, these are the topics we're really interested in. And so all of this data that you can actually get from your real listeners, so that you guys are kind of creating together. That's what we're kind of doing, is we're redirecting and reframing the way that creators create. And we want to have the community be a part of the storytelling that you're doing. And they'll tell you what they want to hear and see. And you can reward them. So maybe they get to meet you, or they get merch or something like that. And it's a data and exposure for you.
I love it. I love it. So you bring people closer to their favorite stars, and I also see that Mariah Carey is one of the artists that's on there.
Yes.
So how did you get that type of exposure and that type of celebrity?
Yeah.
I mean, because she's the bomb. I mean, you don't get much bigger than that. Well, you can, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's actually the number one best-selling female artist of all time. She has 19 number one hits, and the Beatles have 20. So she's like as big as you can get.
And I thought so, but I wasn't sure if anybody had surpassed it, because I don't follow the data. But that's great.
She's amazing, and she was the very first artist to ever come on board. So before we were so early, and she just believed in what we were doing, and she loves her fans. We actually just did an NFT drop with her, where it was all for charity for Make-A-Wish Foundation and Fresh Air Fund, and she flew on a private jet with a fan to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, where she got inducted into this ceremony, and she did amazing. Like, she was with the fans the entire flight. It was just amazing to see, and we raised a ton of money for charity. And those are the kinds of moments that me and her are both passionate about, and that's why she's our executive advisor.
Wow. I did not realize that part. That's really incredible. Because when you think about it, for those fans, I mean, what must that have been like for them? Did you get any feedback?
I was there the whole
testimonials of what?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
They were like the best, and I didn't know how much time Mariah and the fans would spend together. Like, it was a 2-hour plane ride, and then we had the whole induction ceremony and everything, but Mariah was with them the entire time, like, did not move. They were like just in the moment. They were singing. It was just the most magical thing I've like ever been a part of. And we've done really incredible fan experiences, but this one just hit a little bit differently because it was for charity, and because we were actually using the Jam token, which was new, because the token is actually pretty new. So this was just like really amazing. And with somebody who we've talked about this for a while, and now she's doing it, and she's really engaging. Like, we've done FaceTimes with her and everything, but this was really, really special, and the fans were just over the moon the entire time.
I mean, for most people, it doesn't take much, right, to have that. Personally, I finally got to see my favorite band, which is Maroon 5. My husband splurged for us, and we had front row seats, center stage. And at the very end, he threw his guitar pick right at me.
Amazing.
And I picked it up. And that was like, I was like a 13-year-old little girl almost crying. So excited that I got that guitar pick. Like, doesn't take much.
Yeah, right? It doesn't. That's like what we're trying to do, like, on that guitar pick is what we're trying to do through our jam shop and through NFTs. Like NFTs are such like a complicated thing. Like a lot of people are still like, oh, that's like so much, but really it's like about having the ability to own that guitar pick, and it's like your sense of ownership. And that's what we're doing in Web3, but also just across the board is like little things. Like I remember we had like a fan get a Machine Gun Kelly hat that had sweat on it from his show that he threw at me, and I'm like, I'm going to put it directly into the jam shop, and fans went crazy over it. So those little things, that sense of ownership in not only music, but all influencers has kind of been lost. We used to have record label, like records and cassettes, and we used to have to wait. People used to have to wait in line and all of these things, and you really had to be a fan. And so we're trying to bring that back and also just make it really special again.
Yeah, I love that because we have gotten a little disconnected, and you can, at any given second, you can pull up a music video. You can, but the interaction,
exactly,
it seems like is kind of not there. That's great. That's really great. So what's the future of Geojam? What does the future look like?
The future looks like really reinventing the way communities interact. We want to have a community, whether you're a bachelorette party or you're a huge crypto community, or even a skateboarding one with a skateboarder in it, or Mariah Carey's fans. It doesn't really matter what type of community you are, but we want to have something for everyone where you can really make decisions. Like we want to make decision making fun within a community and interactive, and that's why we have polls and proposals, and just like we want to build adventure and make it really, really fun to make decisions and to get to know the people in your community so that we can all take action, whether it's more serious for the big moments or the small moments. It doesn't really matter. We're just trying to make it really, really fun for you to interact every day and experience moments together.
I love it. That's really incredible. How did you come up with this idea?
It's been, I think for me, I always somehow maneuvered my way to just getting like backstage or wherever. It was just like, I could like find my way backstage at a concert or wherever it might be. And I just somehow had access because I've always been like just a really good networker. And when I would be back there, but I also had my moments like in college early on where I'm like the front row, just loving music and that experience of being surrounded by so many people. And when I started getting backstage, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, I kind of want to be in the crowd with all the people. Like, that's where the momentum is and the energy. But when I was back there, I would see the fans and I'm like, there's just no way that if they could experience this, it would change their life. And so I really just wanted to create something like that. And I've been obsessing over social media, especially for social media for music, but then also social media on the blockchain for a really, really long time. I've had some things that I've tried, like I had a TikTok competitor in 2015, very similar to TikTok. I think it was like, Musically was just getting kicked off. They had just raised $250,000, and Mariah's family was actually an investor in that company. So that's kind of how it all came full circle. But I've been just fascinated by social media and how it can really connect us offline and online through a community.
Mm. Love it. Well, because that's really what we want social media to be about.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, nothing's perfect.
Exactly.
Right. If there's a place to go with that type of experience, I would think that's just so much more appealing than just scrolling through the pages to see what people are saying about.
Yeah. Exactly. What we're trying to do is move user-generated content, which is just like about me, to community-generated content. So the community is creating the content together, and it's all about us. And that's what I think, like the spirit of blockchain and decentralization and crypto, it really understood that before anyone else. And now the world's starting to catch up that community is really at the center of everything and how we move forward as a society.
Wow. All right. So you're a serial entrepreneur. What advice can you give to any listener out there that has an idea and doesn't really know how to implement it?
I think it's all about starting, really, because I really think it's all about just starting to do something, write a business plan, design a website, just start something. because I've had so many ideas, right? Like I've probably had like hundreds where I'm like, I'm starting it and then I'll get to a certain point and I'll be like, okay, I don't know if this is the one or there's something that's a blocker. But I think entrepreneurship is about starting and failing all at the same time. And just know, I feel like you'll know in your heart if it's the one that you're just going to keep chasing. And that's for me, that was this.
Right.
There's just no, failure is not an option, but there's just a lot of hurdles always that kick you down, and you just have to get back up and you have to be the fastest to get up.
Nice. So what advice can you give somebody who has found them feeling deflated, or is this going to work? Because we all get into those mindsets. We're human. It's very normal. So what do you do to pull yourself back up?
I think that team is the most important thing, because I think a few of my other ventures, it was difficult because I didn't have the team or support system from internally that could lift me up. Because I have two other co-founders and I love them to death, and we argue and we have our debates and everything, but at least like if one of us is down, the other two are like, stop it, get up, you're not doing this. And so I think team is the most important thing, to have those people that want it as bad as you do. And so that if you're having a bad day, you can lift each other up. And that's, I think, how we've gotten this far.
That's great. And if you don't have a team member, look for support elsewhere.
Advisor.
You know? Find that cheerleader.
You need people.
Yeah. Find your cheering team, cheering squad, or whatever. Those people, when you're having a bad day, you can pick up the phone and be like,
that's like exactly what we're trying to do on Geojam. Like, help people find their tribe, help them find their supporters and their community. So I think, we need that as humans, just that human connection.
We do. We desperately need that. And today more than ever, we need that. So what's the worst business advice you've ever received?
Quit. I think it's just like, this is not going to work, just quit. I think that has been some of the worst advice. Because if I would have listened to that advice, I wouldn't be here. I think that is like, because you know best if it's time, I think. But yeah, just quitting. And then also, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I would have to think there, because I know I've gotten a lot of bad business advice. But I would say the one that if I listened, I would regret the most is just quit, or it's time, or it's not working, is just a big one. But people will always, I think everybody has an opinion, and that's like, you just have to be able to maneuver that. And I know I have to work on that all the time, is you get these opinions from everyone, and then you feel down and you're upset and you don't know who to listen to. But I think it's all about following your heart, and not just your heart, but the research and doing the research and the homework to be able to know which way to go.
Well, and also having mentors, a good mentor. Yeah. And I'm sure having Mariah Carey on your team is really helpful.
You have the advisors, and
that's incredible.
Everybody that we've had, our shareholders and our token holders, and everybody has just been so supportive, and they've really helped us. I don't know where we'd be without them. And so I think it's also about getting those right parts. Yeah. If they're investors, then it's really about finding the right ones that are going to have your back. And that's where I think that's a really good place to start with advice, is just if you do go the fundraising route, to find the right people, because not all money is equal.
Very true. You can watch Shark Tank and figure that out,
exactly.
Right? This has been such a great conversation, and I'm so excited to check it out and to see how I can be a part of some community on there as well. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we finish
That we
up?
are all creators, and that making decisions is going to be super fun, and that we hope to see you on the Geojam platform.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Sandee.
Thank you.